Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new segment to my channel, and this is anime reviews. Yes, not a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people know my real life, but if you can tell from like the channel art and the overall feel of this channel, mostly is I'm a big fan of anime. Not a lot of anime. Like I'm not into some of the weird real ones. The real weird ones or anything like that. I can't fucking speak. I'm not I haven't seen a lot of animes. Like I've talked to people who I've talked to in the past about animes, and they're like, "Oh, you haven't seen the real shit yet," which it's whatever. But I don't know how long this series may go. Maybe I may branch out to different other animes, but this segment will mostly be held to anime reviews of different anime shows or movies. So I'd like to bring the first part of this new part of my channel, these new reviews, as Dragon Ball Super. Yes. Now, I'm just doing this as a series review overall. This is the first part of it, because I have a lot to say about the series, and it's going to have to be split in two parts. But this first part is going to be interesting. So, as you all know, Dragon Ball Super may have ended. Those who like Dragon Ball Super, it's over, and they'll probably bring it back. Let's be honest, they probably will. So, but for now, we know it's ended. So, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Super. Where do we begin? So, how I'm going to review this is based on if I liked it or not, the quality of the show, and if the overall story was good. And Dragon Ball Super is part of, a series. It's part of a series overall. I've talked about Dragon Ball Super in the past, especially their latest arc, the Tournament of Power arc. And yeah, but instead of doing a full recap of it, of what happened, because that'll take me way too damn long. This arc was over 30 episodes, which is nuts. But let's begin. So I'm going to start by talking about, I'm going to dissect the show into each one of its arcs. Except for the Battle of Gods arc and Resurrection F arc. And I'll explain that right now. I believe those arcs should really be watched as movies, because honestly, I don't think those are very good. If you want a real good adaptation of those, just watch the original shit, which is the movies, Resurrection F and the Battle of Gods movies, because they're both great animation and they're good, and I don't think it really requires to watch the anime version to really get the story of what Super's gonna be. You can pretty much pick up on around when's it good? Like around episode 30 maybe? I'm not sure. Basically, start watching Dragon Ball Super around when Champa first arrives, which is I think 30 or 31, one of those episodes. That's when Super really kicks off. And those movies are great. I haven't given reviews on them because, they're a few years old. But, I love those movies. I think they're really good. Battle of Gods overall is my favorite out of the two. But, it's pretty cool, how you can just watch those movies. Like I said, I really do recommend watching those movies. It'll save you a lot of shitty episodes and filler, honestly. You can tell from some of the animation shit from the first two arcs just weren't that good. Now, Dragon Ball Super really begins, like I said, when Champa shows up to the Tournament of Power arc's end and everything. And we pick up with the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 arc, which is that tournament. They call it the Tournament of Destroyers in the English dub, but we're not calling them Destroyers. They're God of Destructions. All right, get it right. So this arc was really cool. The Universe 6 arc, we get an introduction to, the overall. The Dragon Ball world is much bigger, which is really good about this. And, we get an introduction to Champa, who is Beerus' brother. We don't get an origin story of who they are and where they come from, but we know they're both God Destructions and they're twin brothers of separate universes. And Champa is from Universe 6, and from what I remember, he put together the tournament to test to see who can get the Super Dragon Balls and make a wish for whatever they want, because why the fuck not? We found the Super Dragon Balls. Why don't we just fight to see who gets to have wishes? And the Super Dragon Balls are introduced as like the ultimate Dragon Balls, the Dragon Balls that can do anything, which is something no one's ever heard of before. And it's really kind of cool. And we get introduction to brand new characters: Hit, Kaba, Botamo, Magetta. Am I missing anybody? Oh, Frost, of course. And there's a few fighters on the Universe 7 side. As a tournament, it wasn't really that amazing. It's a pretty small tournament. It's just between the two universes, Universe 7 and 6. And, it's definitely a good a prelude to what we would get in a future arc, the Tournament of Power. But we get to see really cool ideas like Frost. At first, we see he's a good guy, but then we realize he's actually a dick. And nobody likes fucking Frost. Kaba, who is a Universe 6 Saiyan, and you kind of get to learn that Universe 7 and Universe 6 are a lot alike. They're actually twin universes. And on Universe 6's side, there's Planet Sadala. And Planet Sadala is pretty much Planet Vegeta on Universe 6, except they've actually lived and they weren't destroyed by Frieza or run by Frieza. They became their own separate little empire thing. And they're actually a little bit more peaceful and they evolved differently. So, and when I say evolve differently, that means Kaba was able to turn Super Saiyan almost instantly within the match him and Vegeta had during this tournament. And Kaba turned into Super Saiyan. It was pretty cool. He gets to fight Vegeta a little bit, and then Vegeta shows his blue form. Because you guys don't know, from Resurrection F, both Goku and Vegeta unlocked their form of Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, which is a version of Super Saiyan God that Goku got from Battle of Gods. And it's pretty cool. He fights Kaba, he loses, and he pretty much, they form a master and student, partnership with each other. And it's pretty cool. This just sets up the relationship between, the two universes, which is pretty cool. And we get to see Hit, who is a really powerful fighter. The strongest fighter at that point Goku's ever faced before, and he is an assassin. He's not an ordinary martial artist, but it's kind of interesting, and you'll see this throughout Dragon Ball Super, and it's really cool. But Hit and Goku, they fight during this tournament, and Goku loses because he realizes that Hit's too strong for him to be at the moment. And during that time, Goku also was able to use the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken in a really badass fight at the end with Goku and Hit. This arc was just really good, it was just pretty cool. And we also got, a sense of what the Super Dragon Balls can do, in the sense of the Super Dragon Balls can resurrect planets, because Beerus uses the Super Dragon Balls to resurrect Universe 6's version of Earth, which was destroyed somehow. That's kind of cool. Oh, and yeah, Universe 7 won that tournament because they had another character named Monaka for a while, and this character was he's pretty much a weakling. Goku looked up to him because Beerus told him that he's like the second person he's ever fought, and Goku's always wanted to beat Beerus ever since Battle of Gods. So he was tricked into that, but Beerus knows that it's like, okay, he's really not strong. Please don't fight him, Goku. It's pretty cool. And he ends up winning the tournament for him because Hit drops out because he realizes how weak Monaka is, and if he would fight him, he would probably die. So, it's pretty interesting. The arc overall was pretty solid, and I really liked it, but probably not as well as I liked the next arc, which is the Goku Black arc. The Goku Black arc was an interesting one. It answered a lot of questions about, Dragon Ball Super overall, just Dragon Ball history overall. It featured the return of Future Trunks, and actually gave us an evil Goku, because if you guys don't know, evil Goku was like an idea people came up with a long time ago before we ever got Super. There's an evil counterpart of Goku. Well, we pretty much got that in the form of Goku Black, and another new villain who's actually Supreme Kai, Zamasu. And Zamasu is from Universe 10. And it's kind of interesting how this arc formed, because, this is pretty much like what happened to Future Trunks from Dragon Ball Z, because you guys know he defeated the androids when he turned back to his time from the Cell Saga. And it was pretty cool. So we got to see that. We got to see the return of future Trunks, and we also get Mai from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super, because Mai was a character from Dragon Ball who hung out with Shu and Pilaf, who are also kids in Dragon Ball Super. I know it's a little confusing. I'm not going over every single detail, because then this video would be long as fuck. But yeah, they basically show up, and Mai is in the future with Trunks too, and they've formed like a relationship. And yet again, the future is in danger. Trunks has to fight Goku Black, but he proves to be obviously too strong, because this guy is just like Goku, except evil. And he goes back in time to see Goku and Vegeta, and it's pretty cool. We get to see moments of, Trunks basically train with Goku, realizing that Goku has Super Saiyan 3, because Trunks hasn't seen Goku or his father, Vegeta, in a very long time. And, I mean, it's alright that Trunks has Super Saiyan 2, but he hasn't seen Super Saiyan 3 yet, so that was pretty significant when he gets to see that. He's like, holy shit, Goku got this powerful? Little does he know he hasn't seen Super Saiyan Blue yet. And then we get to see a fight scene between Goku and Goku Black, and we get to see a little bit more on the mystery of Goku Black. One good thing this arc did was, reveal the mystery of who Goku Black is. Because we just didn't know who Goku Black is. He was an interesting idea of a character, something we haven't seen. Because, this is evil Goku. People want to know who evil Goku is. And we also get an introduction of Zamasu, who is a Supreme Kai from Universe 10, who's actually under training by the real Supreme Kai. It's kind of like an Elder Kai, Supreme Kai, Shin, in Universe 7, their kind of version of like a relationship. Like Gowasu is like his master, who's like Elder Kai. It's pretty cool. And basically, it ends with, Goku fighting Zamasu. Zamasu is actually a fighter Supreme Kai, which is pretty interesting. And he gets beaten by Goku, and he gets some sort of animosity towards him. Later in this arc, we get, a transformation for Goku Black, Super Saiyan Rose, and, pummels Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, like once, sends them back in the past. They go back again, and, we just get some cool moments of, like, this is like a really good Dragon Ball villain. This is a Dragon Ball villain we haven't seen much of before. Goku Black and Zamasu. And, later on we get the reveal that Goku Black and Zamasu are actually the same person. It's Goku Black is future Zamasu from a different timeline who met with another future Zamasu. It was really weird if you guys seen it, and it wasn't explained very well. But basically, that's the gist of it. They're both Zamasu. And there's like a whole time paradox thing. The arc deals a lot with time travel, and that's really cool. And that was really awesome with, and they also reveal that Goku Black in his Rose form gets Zenkai boost. He gets a few Zenkai boosts during their fights and everything. He gets even stronger and stronger in Goku's body. And we also get a new form for Trunks, too, which most people have dubbed as Super Saiyan Rage. That's pretty sick. And from what I've read of what it actually is, it's Super Saiyan Rage is basically like a rage pumped form of Super Saiyan 2 Trunks. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of a new form, but it's not even confirmed to be like God Ki or on any level of Super Saiyan Blue. In fact, I don't think it really was. And, this arc had a few surprises like that and the Zamasu thing. And probably my favorite surprise out of this arc was the fact that Vegeta returned in Super Saiyan Blue. And damn, it was awesome. Basically, Zamasu and Goku Black, they merged bodies with Potara, because it was revealed that they both wear Potara rings on one of their ears. And eventually they, flick the ears and they become Fuse Zamasu, who is a really interesting character. When they become one, they basically become like the ultimate god, pretty much. Like the god who can do anything. He's so holy and so powerful that nothing can stop him until he gets damaged by one of Goku's Kamehamehas and he becomes corrupted. Because it's revealed that Zamasu is immortal. Zamasu, just the normal Zamasu. And Goku Black is mortal. Because it was revealed that they went to a future timeline and they killed all the gods and they took the Super Dragon Balls and Zamasu became mortal, basically. And Goku Black didn't need it because he already had Super Saiyan Rose and he was already powerful enough. So, it's kind of interesting. I like how they did that. And there's a really cool fight between Super Saiyan Blue Vegito and Zamasu, with Super Saiyan Blue Vegito just absolutely pummeling Zamasu, because I don't know about you guys, but Vegito is fucking incredible with how powerful he is. I've done theory videos in the past of how powerful Vegito would be. In fact, I even did a discussion video, like what would happen if Vegito stayed Vegito forever. It's kind of interesting. And here you get to see the raw power of Vegito, and even we get a new rule on Potara fusion in Dragon Ball Super, because if you guys don't know, in Dragon Ball Z, it was told that fusion lasts forever with Potara. Like, you can't split from that. And we saw that with the Supreme Kais, but it was also revealed that the Supreme Kais, because they're, gods, they're stuck that way, unless they get a wish from the Dragon Balls or something like that. But with mortals, eventually, like under an hour, they basically become normal again. And, it's really interesting how they did that. Super Saiyan Blue, they fight for a little bit. Goku and Vegeta get unfused. And this was a weird moment. The final battle in this arc was Corrupted Fused Zamasu versus Super Saiyan Rage Trunks. And Super Saiyan and Trunks pulls out like a fucking spirit bomb sword and chops Zamasu in half. And he basically takes the big win for his arc. He really does take the big win for his arc, even though Zamasu had like this weird Zero Mortals plan where he basically takes over like the universe, and then he basically spreads onto the multiverse. And he does that, and it's kind of weird because he becomes like omnipotent at the same time, where he just like spreads everywhere, and it takes Zeno, who is the king of basically the multiverse, who showed up in the Universe 6 arc. I forgot to mention that. He's like this kid who has the power to erase shit, and he even has his own angel like Whis and Beerus. Like, he has like a Whis and Beerus type relationship with him, and Vados and Champa, if you want to go that far with him. But basically Goku calls upon like a future Zeno from that timeline, because Zeno gave him a button to summon him anywhere he needs, because Zeno becomes buddies with Goku. It's pretty cool. And future Zeno pretty much wipes out Universe 7 in the future timeline, killing Zamasu. That was it was kind of interesting that it's like, this is a foe that they just can't beat. So that's like one of the best parts about the Goku Black arc, that basically it was a villain they couldn't defeat. This is probably like the ultimate Dragon Ball villain we've ever seen so far, bigger than Kid Buu or Cell or Frieza. This guy was completely unbeatable, and it was all because of his rivalry with Goku that it drove him to become insane and want to take over the multiverse. I find that aspect really cool. So it was a really excellent arc, and I liked it better than the Universe 6 arc. Plus, that was like 20-something episodes, so it was really good, And notice I'm not mentioning some of the side episodes, or like, what's the word? Just some of the episodes that don't matter in the long run, the filler and all that, because there are a few filler arcs in Super, but overall, I don't really wish to go over those, honestly, because I don't really think they matter in the long run, honestly. There's side story, like there's a little mini arc where there's a copy Vegeta who turned to like purple sludge and shit. That doesn't really matter, but back to the Goku Black arc and all that. It was just really interesting, At the end of it, Goku and Trunks and Mai, they go back in time. They don't really explain how future Trunks gets to live after his universe was erased and all that, but basically escaped that, and somehow he went back to his time again to train himself further so he could instantly beat Goku Black. Somehow it's complicated, but whatever. So that arc, we got a lot of character development from future Trunks, which is really interesting. People for a long time wanted to know what happened to future Trunks, and we got that answer. Hell, he even unlocked a new form at the end of the day. So these two arcs in Dragon Ball Super have been great so far. The Goku Black arc is really good, and what you'll start to notice in this show, if you guys seen it too, is that this show isn't all about villains. Really the only two arcs per se with villains in it are Frieza and Goku Black. Maybe not even Frieza, because Frieza's been a big villain in the past before, but he's been defeated before and got defeated again. But yeah, but like Goku Black was like the MVP villain, like the main villain of Dragon Ball Super, pretty much, because what they've done is they've incorporated more rivals instead of just like flat out villains. Like Hit is not like a flat out fucking villain or anything. He's just a guy who has no good moral standpoint that says, "Oh, I fight for justice. Oh, I fight for evil." You know, shit like that. He's just a guy who's really strong, and he does this job, which is assassinate people. And, you know, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, those are the first two arcs of Dragon Ball Super summed up by me. I really like those so far of this review, and it really just gives me hope that this next part is going to be pretty interesting, because I'm going to be talking about probably the biggest arc in Dragon Ball Super, which is the Tournament of Power arc. This is part 1, guys. I'll see you guys next time for part 2.